Hi, have a nice day. In this video, I learn of plan and manage your Azure costs. Okay, let's go. Go to the introduction. Introduction. Mm, In this module, you'll learn about the major factors that influence the cost of running in the cloud along the way. You'll get hands-on experience with some of the tools you can use to estimate the cost of running your workloads on Azure to help ensure that you stay within budget and use only the service that you need. Meet Tailwind Traders. Tailwind Traders is a fictitious home improvement retailer. It operates retail hardware stored across the globe and online. Now, right, see the link. No, nothing appear in this link. Okay, they will trader specialize in competitive pricing, fast shipping, and a large range of items. It's looking at cloud technologies to improve business operation and support growth into new markets. By moving to the clouds, the company plans to enhance its shopping experience to further differentiate itself from competitors. How will traders manage cloud costs? Trader is planning its migration to the clouds. The company has run a few successful proof of concept projects and wants to better understand how to manage its costs before it moves its workload to Azure. Running in the data center requires you to maintain a facility and purchase power cool and maintain your servers. Running in the clouds presents new ways to think about your IT expenses. To answer the question of how much it will cost, you need to understand the factors that influence cost. You also need to understand what tools are available to you to help estimate and manage your cloud spend. Learning objectives. After completing this module, you'll be able to use the total cost of ownership calculator to compare your current data center costs to running the same workload on Azure. That too describes the different ways you can purchase Azure products and services. That three, use the pricing calculator to estimate the monthly costs of running your cloud workloads. That four, define some of the major factors that affect total costs and apply recommended practices to minimize costs. Prerequisites. You should be familiar with basic computing concepts and terminology. Familiarity with cloud computing is helpful, but isn't necessary. Okay, I see the introduction. In the next units, I learned of compare costs by using the total cost of ownership calculator. Okay, let's go. Compare cost by using the total cost of ownership calculator. Before Taiwan Trader takes its next steps toward migrating to the cloud, it was to better understand what it spends today in its data center. Having a firm understanding of where the company today will give it a graded sense of what cloud migration means in terms of costs. In this unit, you will see how the total cost of ownership, TCO, total cost of ownership calculator, can help you compare the cost of running in the data center versus running on Azure. What's the TCO calculator? The TCO calculator helps you estimate the cost saving of operating your solution on Azure over time compared to operating in your on-premise data center. Let's go see TCO calculator link. Okay, okay. This is a tool of calculator. Okay, return the lesson. Well, the term total cost of ownership is used commonly in finance. It can be hard to see all the hidden costs related to operating a technology capability on-premise. Software license and hardware are additional costs. With the TCO calculator, you enter the detail of your on-premise workloads. Then you can review the suggested industry average costs, which you can adjust for related operation costs. These costs include electricity, network maintenance, and IT labor. You're then presented with a side-by-side report. Using the reports, you can compare those costs with the same workloads running on Azure. The following image shows one example. Okay, in this image, I see the range of the level of the cost. Okay, total on-premise cost breakdown. In Azure, several of the cost categories from the on-premise environment are consolidated and decrease with the efficiency that comes with the clouds. And in total Azure cost breakdown, in Azure, several of the cost categories from the on-premise environments are consolidated and decrease with the efficiency that comes with the cloud. Okay, in this image, I have computed that has central networking, storage, and IT labor. Notes: you don't need a short subscription to work with the TCO calculator. Okay, it's free. How does that TCO calculator work? Working with the TCO calculator involves three steps. One, define your workloads. Two, adjust assumptions. And three, build the report. Okay. One, define your workloads. Two, adjust assumption. And three, build report. Let's say a closer look at each step. The one, define your workloads. First, you enter the specification of your on-premise infrastructure into the TCO calculator. Based on these four categories: server, database, storage, and network. Server, this category includes operating system, virtualization method, CPU cores, and memory RAM. In database, this category includes database types, server hardware, and the Azure service you want to use, which includes the expected maximum concurrent user settings. Okay. In storage, this category includes storage type and capacity, which includes any backup or archive storage. In networking, This category includes the amount of network bandwidth you currently consume in your on-premise environment. Okay, this is the specification of your on-premise infrastructure into TCO Calculator. Step 2. Adjust assumption. Next, you will specify whether your current on-premise license are enrolled for software assurance, which can save you money by reducing those licenses on Azure. You will also specify whether you need to replicate your storage to another Azure region for greater redundancy. Then you can see the key operating cost assumption across several different areas, which will vary among teams and organizations. These costs have been certified by Nuclear Research, an independent research company. For example, this cost includes electricity price per kilowatts or uh, hourly pay rates of IT administration and network maintenance costs as a percentage of network hardware and software costs. To improve the accuracy of the TCO calculator results, you can adjust the values so that they match the cost of your current on-premise infrastructure. Okay, this is a just assumption, but I we think we seeing this software assurance link. Uh, Only moment. Okay, this is the page of link. In here, in here, I see information of software assurance, benefits of software assurance, and getting software assurance. Learn more about software assurance. Okay, this is information for the lesson. Go to step 3 to build the report. Okay, let's go. Choose a time frames between 1 and 5 years. The TCO calculator generates a report that's based on the information you entered. Here's an example. In this image, I have total on-premise over 2 years. TCO of on-premise environment tends to be driven by compute and data center cost. Example 777,258 total cost. Compute 19%, data center 4%, network and 3%, storage 2%, and IT labor 1%. Some this in here in the right. Total Azure costs over 2 years. In Azure, certain cost categories decrease or go away completely. Total cost 107,000 total cost. Compute 94%, data center 0%, networking 0%, storage 30%, and IT labor 3%. For each category, compute data center, network, storage, and IT labor, you can also view a seat-by-seat comparison of the costs breakdown of operating those workloads on-premise versus operating them on Azure. Here's an example. Okay, in this table, in the left, estimate on-premise cost 2 years. In the right, estimate Azure cost 2 years. Okay, computer cost, data center cost, networking cost, and storage cost, hardware, mm, total storage procurement cost, 5,191. Okay, in estimate Azure cost 2 years, uh, Azure compute cost, Azure data center cost, Azure networking cost, Azure storage cost, um, page blob storage. Use the storage volume in gigabytes. One gigabytes. And storage cost the gigabytes per month. Annual storage cost per unable volume. 552.96. And total page blob LRS storage maintenance costs over 2 years. 1,105. Okay, in this Azure is low cost. Okay, you can download Azure or or save this report to review later. Okay, in this unit case, I did see the cost by using the total cost of ownership calculator, the TCO calculator. In the next unit exercise, compare sample workloads codes by using the TCO calculator. Okay, let's go. Exercise compared sample workloads costs by using that TCO calculator. In this exercise, you use the total cost of ownership TCO calculator to compare the costs of running a sample workload in the data center versus on Azure. TableTrader is interested in moving some of its on-premise workloads to the cloud, but where the chief financial officer wants to understand more about moving from a relative fixed cost structure to an ongoing monthly cost structure. You've been tasked to investigate whether there are any potential cost savings in moving your European data center to the cloud over the next 2 years. You need to take into account all the potentially hiding costs involved with operating on-premise and in the cloud. Instead of manual collection everything you think might be included, you can use the TCO calculator as a starting point. You can adjust the provided cost assumption to match TableTrader's on-premise environments. Notes. Remember, you don't need a Azure subscription to work with the TCO calculator. Let's try that. TableTrader runs 2 threads on banks of 50 virtual machines. In each bank, the field bank of virtual machines runs Windows Server under Hyper-V virtualization. The second bank of VMs running Linux under VMware virtualization. There's also a storage area network fan, storage area network SAN fan with 16 terabytes of this storage. Other than you consume an estimated 15 terabytes of outbound network bandwidth each month. There is a number of databases involved, but for now, you will omit those details. Recall that the TCO calculator involves three steps. Okay, define your workloads to adjust assumptions and review reports. Let's see how time trader existing workloads compare in the data center versus on Azure. Define your workloads in the specification and your on-premise infrastructure into the TCO calculator. Go to the TCO calculator. Okay. A moment. Go to the TCO calculator. Let's go to the line. Okay. Okay. Under the finance you work what's into that under the finance you work what's we no select as server works what to create a role for your bank of Windows Server VMS virtual machines. Okay, go in here. Define your workers, calculator, add server workloads. Okay, add server workloads. Select to row. Okay, okay. A row for the bank. Under servers, set the values for each of these settings. Name server. Okay, a moment. Settings. Name. Servers Windows VMS. Okay. Windows VMS. And workload I select Linux server. Okay. In environment, virtual machine. In operating system, Windows. Okay. In VMS, virtual machine 50. In virtualization, hyper virtualization. Okay. In course, okay. In course, 8 cores. In RAM, 16. In system, operating system, Windows. Operating system, Windows. Data center. This is operating system listings. Okay. No change. Optimized by CPU. Okay. Windows Server 2008. 2008. R2 enough. Covered. Okay, that for select at server workload. Okay. To create a second row for your bank of Linux, VMS then specific the setting. Mine is servers Linux VMS. Okay. Work one Windows Linux server quality in the environment virtual machine in operating system Linux in VMS 50 in virtualization VMware increase 8 in RAM 16. Okay, in RAM 16. Optimize sobre CPU. Under storage. Inventory. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Under storage, select add storage. Storage, add storage. Okay. Name server storage. In storage types, local disk SRM correctly. Disk type HDD. Capacity 60 terabyte. Backup 120. Okay. In archive 0. Correctly. That's 6. Under networking sets outbound bandwidth to 15 terabytes. Network sets outbound 15 terabytes. Okay. Destination and next. What's the next? Okay, next. Adjust assumption. Adjust assumption. The following assumption in the TCO model are industry average accredited by nuclear research to get a more accurate TCO report, update and customize. These values to reflect your situation, which can vary by an industry and location. Okay. In adjust assumption, here you specifically currently for brevity. You can leave. You can leave the remaining fields at their default value. In practice, you won't adjust any cost consumption and make an adjustment to name your current compromise environment. Um, 1. At the top of the page, select your current exactly just dollar. Okay. Select your currency. Um, adjust assumption. Okay. Plus dollar correction. Select next. Next. With the report, take a moment to review the generator report. Remember, you will be tested to investigate cost saving for your European data center over the next 2 years. To make this adjustment, set estimate price to 3 years. Estimate frame 3 years to 3 years. Okay, 3 years to 3 years. Review. Not Europe. Not Europe. Mm, Okay, not open, no open. Okay, no open. Let's say, okay, not so. Scroll the summary at the bottom. You see a comparison of running your workload in the data center versus an Azure deployment. The process used might differ, but there are an example of the cost sharing your meeting. Okay, saving your master. Okay, and here's 100, 1000. Okay, this is the image. Mhm. Okay, have a good day. I learned of purchase Azure service. Okay, in this unit, you will learn how to purchase Azure service and get things for other factors that affect cost. You meet with your chief financial officer and some of the team leads and learn about some assumptions you've made. You were able to quickly update your total estimated spend through the total cost of ownership TCO calculator. Total cost of ownership TCO calculator. During the meeting, some new questions arose as the discussion moves toward cloud migration. Okay, what types of Azure subscription are available? How do we purchase Azure services? Does location or network traffic affect cost? What other factors affect the final cost? How can we get a more detailed estimate of the cost to run on Azure? Okay, it's important to learn how costs are generated in Azure so that you can understand how your purchasing and solution design decision can affect your final costs. You've agreed to research these questions, so let's review each one on greater detail. What types of Azure subscription can I use? Okay, you probably know that an Azure subscription provides you with access to Azure resources such as virtual machines, storage, and a device. The types of resources you use affect your monthly bill. Azure offers both free and paid subscription options to fit your needs and requirements. They are their free trial, pay as you go, and member offers. A free trial subscription provides you with 12 months of popular free service, a credit of Explorer, and in Azure any Azure service for 30 days, and more than 25 services that are always free. You Azure surveys are disabled when the trial ends or when your credit expires for paid products unless you upgrade to a paid subscription. In Pay-as-you-go, a pay-as-you-go subscription lets you pay for that you use by taking a credit or debit card to your account. Organization can apply for volume discounts and prepaid invoicing. The other is member offers. In member offer, your existing membership to certain Microsoft products and services might provide you with credits for your Azure account and reduce rates on Azure service. For example, members offers are available to Visual Studio subscribers, Microsoft Partner, Network member, Microsoft for Startups members, and Microsoft Imagine members. Okay, uh, how do I purchase Azure services? There are three main ways to purchase services on Azure. They are through an enterprise agreement directly from the web and through a cloud solution provider. In through an enterprise agreement, larger customers known as enterprise customers can sign an enterprise agreement with Microsoft. These agreements commit them to spending a predetermined amount on Azure service over a period of 3 years. The service fee is typically paid annually. As an enterprise agreement customer, you will receive the best customized pricing based on the kinds and amount of service you plan on using. Okay, the other direct from the web. Here you can purchase Azure service directly from the Azure portal website and pay a standard price. You're billed monthly, either as the credit card payment or towards an invoice. This purchasing method is known as web direct. The other through a cloud solution provider. A cloud solution provider, CSP, cloud solution provider, is a Microsoft partner that helps you build solution on top of Azure. Your CSP bill you for your Azure usage at a price they determine. They also answer your support questions and escalate them to Microsoft as needed. You can bring up or provision Azure resource from the Azure portal or from the command line. The Azure portal arranges products and services by category. You can select the service that fit your needs. Your account is valid according to Azure's pay for what you use model. Here is an example that shows the Azure portal. In this image, select compute categories and selected virtual machine. At the middle of each month, you're billed from what you've used. At any time, you can check the cost management plus billing page in the Azure portal to get a summary of your current usage and review invoices from previous months. Okay. Okay, what cost affects cost? What factors affect cost? The way of use resource, your subscription type, and pricing from third-party vendors are a common factor. Let's take a quick look at each. A number of factors influence the cost of Azure resource. Resource type. A number of factors influence the cost of Azure resource. They depend on the type of resource or how you customize it. For example, with a storage account, you will specify a type such as blob storage or table storage, performance tier, standard or premium, and, and an access tier, hot, cool, or archive. This selection presents different costs. Okay, Other factor is usage methods. When you provide a resource, Azure creates methods to track that resource usage. Azure uses these methods to generate a usage record that's later used to help calculate your bill. Think of usage methods as similar to how you use electricity or water in your home. You might find a base price each month for electricity or water service, but your final bill is based on the total amount that you consumed. Let's look at a single virtual machine as an example. The following kinds of methods are relevant to tracking its usage. Um, Overall CPU time spent with a public IP address, incoming, ingress, and outgoing egress, need for traffic in and out of the virtual machines, other disk size and amount of disk read and disk write operation. Okay, each method tracks a specific type of usage. For example, a meter might track bandwidth usage, ingress or egress network traffic in bits per second, number of operations, or its high storage capacity in bytes. Okay, the usage that a meter tracks correlates to the quantity of billable units. Those units are charged to you account for each billing period. The rate per billable unit depends on the resource type you're using. Okay. Okay. Resource usage. In Azure, you are always charged based on what you use. And an example, let's look at how this billing applies to delocating virtual machines. In Azure, you can delete or delocate a virtual machine. Deleting a virtual means that you no longer need it. The virtual machine is removed from your subscription, then it is prepared for another customer. Delocating a virtual machine means that the virtual machine is no longer running, but the associated hard disk and that we still keep in Azure. The virtual machine isn't assigned to a CPU or network in Azure's data center, so it doesn't generate the costs associated with computer time or the virtual machine's IP address because the disk and date are still stored and the resource is present in your Azure subscription. You're still billed for this storage. Deallocating a virtual machine when you don't plan on using it for some time is just one way to minimize costs. For example, you might deallocate the virtual machine you use the testing purpose on weekends when your testing teams isn't using them. Mhm. You will learn more about other ways to minimize costs later in this module. Okay. Azure subscription types. Some Azure subscription types also implies usage allowance, which affects costs. For example, an Azure free trial subscription provides access to a number of Azure products that are free for 12 months. It also includes credit to spend within your fields, 30 days, or sign up. You also get access to, to more than 25 products that are always free. Okay, in Azure Marketplace, you can also purchase Azure-based solution and service from third-party vendors through Azure Marketplace. Example includes managing network firewall appliances or connector, the third-party backup service, billing structures, RD, RSD. Okay. Does location or network traffic affect costs? When you provision area resource in Azure, you need to define the location known as the Azure region or where it will be deployed. Let's see why this decision can have those consequences. Location. Azure infrastructure is distributed. Okay. Zones for billing or network traffic. Billing zones are a factor in determining the cost of some Azure service. Bandwidth refers to data moving in and out of Azure data center. Some inbound okay. In zone is a geographic grouping of Azure region for billing purposes. The following zones include some of the region as shown here. Zone 1, Australia Central, West East, East, Canada, West Europe, France Central, and other. In Zone 2, Australia, Japan, West, Central India, Korea, and South, and other. Zone 3, Brazil South, South Africa, North America, South Africa West, UAE, UAE, UAE. The Zone 1, Germany Central, Germany North. How can I estimate the total cost? Okay, I listen a video. I I see within video. A moment.
How much does Azure cost? The answer to this common question depends on many factors, such as services used, workloads, networking needs, and storage requirements. Azure provides several tools to help you understand your costs and savings when moving to the cloud. First, the Total Cost of Ownership, or TCO Calculator, helps you understand the cost savings of operating your solution on Azure compared to your on-premises data center. Define your workloads by specifying your current on-premises infrastructure based on servers, databases, storage, and networking. Then you can make adjustments to costs based on your location and organization. Finally, you can view a report that shows your costs and savings over time. The second useful tool is the Pricing Calculator, which can help you determine which Azure services best fit your budget. As you select your subscriptions, services, resources, and third-party solutions, you can add up your costs. You can make adjustments for regions, billing options, dev test pricing, and support options. This can give you a good estimate of the costs of your plans. To monitor your actual costs, you can use the Azure Advisor. It can make recommendations around unused resources and ways to optimize your services. You can also set spending limits on your costs to prevent accidental cost overruns. By using these tools, you can monitor your costs while tracking your overall long-term savings of moving to the cloud. How much does Azure cost? The answer to this common
Okay, okay, manage total cost measure. As a home improvement retailer, the proverb measure twice, cut once is fitting for the team and the traders. Here are some recommended practices that can help you minimize your costs. Okay? Understand estimated costs before you deploy. To help you place your solution on measure, carefully consider the products, services, and resources you need. Read the relevant documentation to understand how each of your choice is measured and valued. Calculate your projected costs by using the pricing calculator and the total costs of ownership TCO calculator only at the product, service, and resource that you need for your solution. Okay? Use Azure Advisor to monitor your usage. Ideally, you want your professional resources to match your actual usage. Azure the resource identifies unused or underutilized resources and recommended unused resources that you can remove. This information helps you configure your resource to match your actual workload. The following images show some example recommendations from Azure Advisor. Example in this image, impact, description, and potential failure. I write this or shut down on underutilized virtual machine. 82,000 approximately. High. Buy virtual machine reserved instance to save money over pay as you go cost. This is 538 approximately. Okay. And the medium right size underutilized SQL databases is 1975 approximately. Okay. Uh, recommendation are sorted by impact, high, medium, or low. In some case, Azure Advisor can automatically remediate or fix the underlying problem. Other issues such as the two that are listed as high impact require human intervention. Okay, use spending limits to restrict your spending. If you have a tutorial of credit-based Azure subscription, you can use spending limits to prevent accidental overrun. For example, when you spend all your credits included with your Azure free account, Azure resources that you deployed are removed from production and your Azure virtual machines are stopped and they are located. The data in your storage account is available as read-only. At this point, you can upgrade your retail subscription to pay-as-you-go subscription. If you have a credit-based subscription and you reach your configured spending limits, Azure suspends your subscription until a new billing period begins. Okay. Our related concept is quotas or limits on the number of similar resources. Can you provision within your subscription? For example, you can allocate up to 25,000 virtual machines per region. These limits mainly help Microsoft plan its data center capacity. Okay, use Azure Reservation to prepare. Azure Reservation offer discounted price on certain Azure services. Azure Reservation can save you up to 72% as compared to pay-as-you-go prices. To receive a discount, you can reserve services and resources by paying in advance. For example, you can prepay for 1 year or 2 years of use of virtual machines, database, computing capacity, database throughput, and other Azure resources. The following examples show estimated saving on virtual machines. In this example, you save an estimated 72% by committing to a 3 years term. Okay? In example, select the products you want to purchase. Of reserved virtual machine instances, there is provided a significant discount over pay-as-you-go virtual machine prices, by allowing you to purchase the base costs of your virtual machine shell for a period of 1 or 2 years. Reserved instance discount will automatically apply to matching virtual machines. You don't need to redeploy resources to get reservation discount. The reservation applied only to hardware usage. Windows is charged separately year month. Scope, shared billing subscription, cost management research, okay, recommended by product, show a recommendation basis on your usage over the last 30 and therefore. In this image, we can see the different virtual machines and region and instance and CPUs and RAMs and terminals and billing frequencies and recommendation quantity. Okay. Mm, in the bottom is a price, monthly price per virtual machine, $59, 72% estimated saving. Okay. Azure reservations are available to customers with an enterprise agreement, cloud solution provider, and pay-as-you-go subscription. Okay. Uh, Choose low-cost allocation and region. The cost of Azure product services and resources can vary across location and region. If possible, you should use them in those location and region where they cost less. Okay, but remember some resources are measured and valued according to how much outgoing egress, network bandwidth they consume, You should provision connected resources that are measured by bandwidth in the same Azure region to reduce egregious traffic between them. Okay, research available cost saving offer. Keep up to date with the latest Azure customer and subscription offers and switch to offers that provide the greatest cost saving benefits. Okay, okay, use Microsoft Cost Management plus billing to control spending. Cost management is a free service that helps you understand your Azure bill, manage your accounts, and subscription monitor and control Azure spending and optimize resource use. The following image shows current usage broken down by service. Example, service name, Azure App Service, 39, Secure Center, 13, Storage, 12, Visual Studio Online, 0.41, and bandwidth 0, etc. etc. In this example, Azure App Service, a web application hosting service, generates the greatest cost management features includes reporting, data enrichment, budget, alerting, recommendation. Okay. Uh, use historical data to generate reports and forecast future usage and expenditure. Data enrichment improve accountability by categorizing resources with tags that correspond to real-world business and organizational units. Budgets create and manage costs and usage budgets by monitoring resource demand trends, consumption rates, and cost patterns. Alerting. Get alerts based on your costs and usage budgets. And recommendations. Receive recommendations to eliminate idle resources and to optimize the resource you provision. Okay. Okay. Apply tags to identify cost owner. Tags help you manage costs associated with the different groups of Azure products and resources. You can apply tags to group of Azure resources to organize billing data. For example, if you run several virtual machines for different teams, you can use tags to categorize costs by department, such as human resource, marketing, or finance, or by environment such as test or production. Tags make it easier to identify groups that generate the biggest Azure costs, which can help you adjust your spending accordingly. The following image shows Azure's worth of usage broken down by tags on the cost management page. Okay, in this image, I see actual costs, forecast unavailable, and budgets none. For each month, August, September, October, November, December, January 2020. Okay, mm, much. Okay, resize underutilized virtual machines. A common recommendation that you will find from cost management and Azure Advisor is to resize or shut down virtual machines that are underutilized or idle. As an example, say you have a virtual machine whose size is standard. The before. A general purpose virtual machine type with 4 CPUs and 16 gigabytes of memory. You might discover that this virtual machine is idle 90% to the time. Virtual machine costs are linear and double for each size larger in the time series. So in this case, if you reduce the virtual machine size from standard D4 before or standard D2 before, do which is the next size lower. You reduce your compute cost by 50%. The following images show this idea. Okay, mm, we we see virtual machines standard D4 before translate um, change to virtual machine standard D2 before 50% saving by moving down one virtual machine instance size. Keep in mind that resizing a virtual machine requires it to be stopped, resized, and then restarted. This process might take a few minutes depending on how significant the size change is. Be sure to properly plan for an outage or shift your traffic to another instance when you perform resize operation. Okay, okay. Deallocate virtual machine during off hour. Recall that to deallocate a virtual machine means to no longer run the virtual machines, but preserve the associated hard disk and data in Azure. If you have virtual machine workloads that are only used during certain periods, but you're running them every hour of every day, you're wasting money. These virtual machines are great candidates to shut down when not in use and start back when you need them, saving you compute costs while the virtual machine is deallocated. This approach is an excellent strategy for development and testing environments where the virtual machines are needed only during business hours. Azure even provides a way to automatically start and stop your virtual machines on a schedule. Okay, delete unused resources. The recommendation might sound obvious, but if you aren't using a resource, you should shut it down. It's not uncommon to find non-production or proof of concepts systems that are no longer needed following the completion of a project. Regularly review your environments and work to identify this system. Shutting down this system can have a dual benefit by saving you on infrastructure costs and potential saving on licensing and operating costs. Okay. Okay, migrate from EOS to PS service. As you move your workloads to the cloud, a natural evolution is to start with infrastructure as a service. EOS service because they map more directly to concepts and operations you're already familiar with. Over time, one way to reduce costs is to gradually move IaaS workloads to run on platform as a service pass services. While you can think of IaaS as direct access to compute infrastructure, PaaS provides really make development and deployment environments that are managed for you. As an example, say you run a SQL server on a virtual machine running on Azure. This configuration requires You to manage the underlying operating system, set up a SQL service license, manage software and security updates, and so on. You also pay for the virtual machine, whether or not the database is processing queries. One way to potentially save costs is to move your database from SQL Server on a virtual machine to Azure SQL Database. Azure SQL Database is based on SQL Server. Not only are past services such as Azure SQL Database often less expensive to run, but because they are managed for you, you don't need to worry about software updates, security patches, or optimizing physical storage for read and write operation. Okay. Okay, further on licensing costs. Licensing is another area that can dramatically affect your cloud spending. Let's look at some ways you can reduce your licensing costs. Okay, choose cost-effective operating systems. Many Azure services provide a choice of running of Windows or Linux. In some cases, the cost depends on which you choose. When you have a choice and your application doesn't depend on the underlying operating system, it's useful to compare pricing to see whether you can save money. Okay, say Azure Hybrid benefits to repurpose software licenses on Azure. If you purchase a license for Windows Server or SQL Server and your license are covered by software assurance, you might be able to repurpose those licenses on VM virtual machines on Azure. Some of the details vary between Windows Server or SQL Server. We'll provide resources for you to learn more at the end of this module. Okay? I or we see link software assurance. Okay, this is panel of information. Okay, nothing interesting. Okay, I we will learn about manage and minimize total cost on Azure. In the next units, I can know I knowledge check. Okay, 2 minutes. Consider the following scenario, then choose the best response for each question that follow, and select check your answer before they migrate the existing e-commerce system from their data center to production environments on Azure. The Taiwan Traders teams wants to first set up environments for development and testing. Here is a diagram that shows the basic compute, database, and networking components found and each environment. The environment in here there are 3 virtual machines and 1 SQL database and virtual network. In the test environment, 6 virtual machines and Azure SQL database. An e-commerce system might require a website, the product database, a payment system, and so on because developer can't always run the entire service from their local development environments. The dev environment is the first place where everything the apps needs comes together. After the development teams verifies change to the environments, They promote change to the test environment. The test environment is where the system team verifies new app features and also verifies that no regression or break to existing features happen as new features are added. The team will map each components in their existing infrastructure to the appropriate Azure service. Okay, check your knowledge. Which is the best first step the team should take to compare the cost of running this environment on Azure versus in their data center? They reduce these environments, spin them up, and check the bill at the end of the month. Assume that running in the cloud costs about the same as running in the data center. Run the total cost of ownership calculator to compare. Okay. What the best way to ensure that the development team doesn't provision too many virtual machines at the same time? Do not let the development team use what they need. App spending limits to the development team's Azure subscription. Verbally give the development lab a budget and hold them accountable for overage. Which is the most efficient way for the testing teams to save costs on virtual machines on weekends when testers are not at work? Delete virtual machine before weekends and create a new deallocated virtual machine when they are not in use. Just let everything run as on video only for separate teams that you use. Resourcing the dev and test environments are each paid for by different departments. What's the best way to categorize costs by departments? Apply the tag to each virtual machine that identifies the appropriate billing departments. Split the cost evenly between departments. Keep an spreadsheet that lists each team's resource. Check your answer. Okay, all very good. Okay, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in next lesson. Bye bye.